My name is Tony, and we've been corrected. We're investors. I'm an investor for gooseberries. So, I'm one of the larger farmers right now. I'm on 5 acres as we speak, but as Robert says, we should be at about 10 minimum. We have one of our farmers who's already headed towards 15 acres. And so what I discovered from the onset, we need to put down our seedlings during the onset of the rainy season. That helps you cut down a lot of cost in terms of irrigation. Yeah. So for the first, I noticed the first about 3 months of your plant, it needs a lot of rain. And if you're trying to plant it at the dry season while irrigating, it will cost you a lot, and the plants won't be as strong. Yeah. And planting, there's some days we plant in the morning, midday, some in the evening. But now we realized when planting, always do it from 4 o'clock onwards. Yeah, you'll tend to have stronger plants at that. So once you're starting, yeah, just before you get into gooseberry planting, and most crops essentially, you need to do your soil test. This is just to find out how healthy your soil is. Then from the results you'll get, of course, you need to do those corrections from your soil test. Then for me, it depends with your spacing, yeah? So you'll either get there's a spacing, you'll use about 2,000 plants. Others you'll use up to 2,600, yeah? And you'll need, that's what I'm speaking. Okay, with the 1.2 spacing, this is the one we started with, yeah? That is 1 meter from plant to plant. Then between the rows, we went 2 meters. Then there's also the 1x1 spacing. That one, it takes more plants. But for my experience, the ones that we gave a spacing of 2 meters, it's less plants, but they're producing more and they're healthier plants. Yeah, they're easy to manage, I guess, because they're getting more sunlight, getting more water, and other factors that we'll discover. In South Africa, actually, when I did my research, they actually go to about 2.8 meters in spacing. Yeah, so those are things when we'll all plant differently and see what yields work best for us, because research will still be ongoing. Yeah, so transplanting, normally once we've dug our holes, let's say you're about a week or 2 weeks. Yeah, we've dug our holes, our 2,000 holes, about a foot jembe moja too. Then you'll apply manure to that soil, manure and lime to it. Other guys would want to apply, some guys have added magnesium sulfate and soil wetters, depending how dry your area is. But if you're planting during the rainy season, I think just manure and lime should be sufficient. Yeah, like mfuko ikikubali, you can put in some magnesium sulfate. It will help with your crops as well. Yeah. Then once your plants get to about 4 months, I noticed, because they're crawlers. These plants are crawlers, so they need support. Yeah, in an acre, so just for me, I just counted how much poles I used in an acre, which was about 416. And the diameters were about 10 to 15, then with a height of about 6 meters. Then now we do we support them with the twining ropes, just parallel, about a foot apart. Yeah. So with that, we did the total. That's about 7,000 meters. Then we buy them for about 380, 390. So you look at about 2,000 for that. Yeah. Next slide. Okay. This is what we did initially. Yeah. We used to support them like tomatoes. So you have your wires on top and tie them, but realized that was very expensive and it used to choke the crop, because these crops need their space and they need to get sunlight. So that's why we moved to the other system. Yeah, where you have 2 parallel lines a foot apart. That is a much easier and way cheaper to do it. Yeah, that's our current. Okay, so in about 100 days, yeah, for us, it was about 100 days, we started harvesting, yeah? So when you're harvesting, now that's where the spacing will come in. You lose, because once your crops, when they're too close to each other, when your people are coming to harvest, they'll step on the crops, you'll get a lot of wastages, yeah? So it's good to have that spacing. It makes harvesting way easier, and we are looking for the the berries, that the husks have just started turning yellowish and a bit pale, but once you look inside, they're golden. The fruits are golden in color. Some will be greenish, but kama imeturn yellow yote, you'll taste it, you'll see they're sweet. That one you'll also harvest. Some varieties will be yellow. I mean, will still be a bit green, but they'll still be ready for harvest, yeah? Then from there now, most of our farmers now transport in guineas, then they go to the factory, they'll be weighed there. You can weigh yours as well, just to make sure your records are the same. But the easiest way of not getting a lot of damages is to transport them through crates. Easy crates to Zamkate. If you can invest in that, and yeah, just invest in that, you'll have less wastages by the time they get to the factory. Yeah. So these are, I went through some of the main costings when I was doing my crop. This is on an acre, yeah? So soil tests, some guys will go for a bigger, like the ones for 5,000. It'll test more elements than what us guys do. For me, I just wanted to know what is my pH level. I wanted to know how much manure is on my soil, yeah, just to make those corrections. But you can go in depth. If kama mfuko inakubali, you're allowed to go more in depth. And with the soil corrections, because I bought like, I corrected about 10 bags of lime to an acre. Then the manure that you need to add came to about that much, about 5,000. So this is just 4,000 just for your land preparation. You need tractor, just coming in, just leveling your land. And with the seedlings at 8 shillings, you can do your math. If you're doing a population of 2,500, you multiply by that. Then, but I believe that's still the price, or any adjustment should be able to tell us. Then labor, these are the guys just for digging your holes, then to help you plant, that is how much we spent. So that's roughly the costings. Then for me, what I did, I've never stopped harvesting, yeah? From the time I started harvesting, because I do irrigation as well. So I've never, okay, there's some weeks, I harvest every week. Some weeks will be higher, some will be less. There's some seasons, like when it's raining really heavily, the yield will go down. But if just between the dry season and the rainy season, you'll go like 2 months, you'll be harvesting almost 200. The most I've done is 450 kgs per acre per week, yeah? I know a farmer who's done 580 in a week from an acre. So anyway, we'll see how to, the guys coming in will be able to help us how to improve so that we increase that amount that we're able to harvest per week, yeah? The challenges, as I said, is very few challenges, to be honest, in terms of pests, yeah? Those white flies are there, but they don't really affect your yield as much. The caterpillars, minimal. The birds, just let them have their day. Ata watoto, those berries are too much. They cannot finish. Yeah. Then with weeds, that's very expensive. During the rainy season, you tend to have so many weeds. Yeah. So right now with my workers at the farm, I just tell them every day is a weeding day. So they just have to keep on weeding. Yeah. So I don't know if there are proper herbicides we can use. Probably George and the rest will tell us, just to help us with that. Then, as we say, we need to. You have to go into irrigation, to be honest. If you, some of our farmers, we got them to plant. I want to mention names. They didn't do irrigation. They lost their crops. Yeah. So just make sure you have a good source of water before you do that. Test your, key thing, make sure you have water, make sure your soil is right, then now you can get into it.